Friends, welcome to Colonial Park United Church of Christ, where no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We're so grateful that you've chosen to worship with us today. Please make your participation known to us by signing in on our online attendance pad or by commenting in YouTube or Facebook or contacting the church office in some way to simply let us know that you're participating in our worship. The first Sunday in Advent. I can't even believe it. It's so crazy that we're at this point of getting ready for the holiday season, for the birth of love, for this time of watching and waiting. That being said, as part of our Advent season, you will notice several different pieces in our liturgy that we don't typically have, that we are hoping to have throughout the series, so pay attention for that. Also, you will notice in the back of the bulletin, I commented that I've woven together two different pieces that I've found, two different series. One is I believe when, even when. I believe even when. And it's this idea of that comes from a line that was scrawled on the wall in a cell in a concentration camp during the Holocaust. I believe in the sun even when it's not shining. So you'll hear that theme throughout of where do we find our beliefs? What do we hold tight to? Alongside of that is this series called Those Who Dream, because I figured we're all dreamers and we're all in that time where we need to be part of God's dream for this world. So be attentive to those couple of pieces themes that run throughout, and pieces that may look a little bit different. One of those pieces that will look a little bit different is we typically have an Advent wreath and the lighting of an Advent wreath. We will continue to have that, but we will also be inviting you and different folks in the congregation to light the Advent wreath at your home. And so some of those ways that we are seeing that will be people recording at home. But I also want to invite you to have your Advent wreath out every day during Advent, but perhaps Sundays in particular, and take the time to light your Advent wreath during the time of lighting the Advent wreath in our service. Along those lines, a special thank you to those who are participating today and make today possible. To Kathy Neely for being our videographer, to Pastor Scott Siciliano and Anthony Halbert for leading us in beautiful music. Music is a big part of this series, and so we will be hearing lots of music and song in this time. Also, a special thank you to Jane Richardson, who is our lay reader today, and the Nupponens, who are our Advent wreath lighters today. So thank you so much. A couple of other announcements, most of which are in your bulletin. First of all, a reminder that today, as the first Sunday of Advent, we will be having communion. So please have your communion elements ready. Go get them now if you don't have them. That being mentioned, we do not have communion next week. It's the first Sunday of the month, which is when we typically have it. But since this is the first Sunday of Advent, we have it now and will not have it next week. So participate in communion today. Also this week then, a couple other things that are starting back up. Tuesday night, I will be coming back into our Tuesday night discussion time. That's on Zoom at 6:15. And this time, this series, in this season, we are using Adam Hamilton's The Journey. So you may want to participate in that by Zoom. Please let me know if you're not able to do so and wish to take time to practice on how to get on Zoom to do that. Also on Thursday then, we will continue our Bible study series of the first part of the Gospel of Luke. That's on Thursdays at 2 o'clock, and that starts up again after a 2-week break. Next Monday will be the first Monday of the month, and we will have Women's Spirituality Group online December 7th. So please plan to participate in that, even if you haven't in the past. Ladies, all are welcome. Two other things that are next week then, or that are our deadlines. One is that we have the cookies that we collect for the truck stop ministry are due on December the 6th. So you'll want to get those in this week and put them in the tin in the office. We thank you to everyone who participates in baking cookies at home for the Truck Stop Ministry. Also this week then, the 4th through the 6th, is the Crush Festival. We will be having some opportunities for you to walk through safely, masked, socially distanced, through one path in and one door out. And that will allow us to view some of these amazing crushes, nativity sets from around the world. We hope to have some of that online as well for those of you who are not able to make it in or don't feel comfortable coming in. We just think that it will help us continue to get into the holiday spirit and the spirit of what the season is all about. All of that being said, my friends, let us prepare our hearts and minds for worship.
Christ, whose glory fills the skies, Christ the everlasting light, the Son of righteousness, arise and triumph o'er these shades of night. Come thou, long-awaited one, in the fullness of your love, and loose this heart bound up in shame, and I will never be the same. So here I wait in hope of you, oh, my soul's longing through and through, and day spring from on high beneath, and a star in my heart appear. Dark and cheerless is the morn, until your love in me is born, and joyless is the evening sun, until Emmanuel has come. So here I wait in hope of you, all my soul's longing through and through, and day spring from on high beneath, and a star in my heart appear. So here I wait in hope of you, all my soul's longing through and through, and day spring from on high beneath, and a star in my heart appear.
Friends, let us join in our call to worship. The power of dreams lies in waking up. For when we close our eyes,
we can see a better world.
When we close our eyes,
we can dream a better dream.
But when we open our eyes,
we begin the work of faith.
The power of worship is the same. When we enter this time,
we can see a better world.
When we enter this space,
we can dream a better dream.
But when we leave this time,
we begin the work of faith.
So come in, dream your dream.
Find hope here.
For in this time,
we will begin the work of faith.
Let it be so.
I dream of sunflower fields.
I dream of key lime pie with a mile-high meringue.
I dream of the days when we can be part of a crowd.
I dream of snow days.
I dream of empty beds in jail cells.
I dream of a world that will let kids be kids.
I dream of full tables instead of empty bellies.
I dream of schools with enough money to cook.
I dream of parents with enough money to feed.
I dream to keep awake, because if we don't dream of better days, then we might forget that this is not what God imagined.
So today, we light the candle of hope, for hope is the very thing that keeps dreams afloat. May this light be an invitation to keep us awake.
May this light be our invitation to be Advent people, people who dream.
Amen.
Dream, God's dream. Holy Spirit, help us dream of a world where there is justice and where everyone is free to build and grow and love and to simply have enough. The world will change when we dream God's dream. I'm dreaming of a world where the color of one's skin will mean less than what's within that person's heart. A world where water's clean and where air is safe to breathe, and every child born has enough to eat. Dream, God's dream. Holy Spirit, help us dream of a world where there is justice and where everyone is free to build and grow and love and to simply have enough. The world will change when we dream God's dream. I'm dreaming of the call God is offering to me, how to use my energy and my best gifts to do the work of Christ, to say, God, please use my life to spread your healing love and to live your truth. Dream, God's dream. Holy Spirit, help us dream of a world where there is justice and where everyone is free to build and grow and love
Original dreamer, over and over again in Scripture, we hear your dream for a beautiful world. We hear your dream for peace and reconciliation. We hear your dream for harmony and togetherness. We hear your dream for community and hope. We hear your dreams, and yet we do not open our eyes. We continue to live with the curtains drawn, the covers pulled tight, eyes shut to the realities of the world. Forgive us. Kindle a hope in us that will burn through the darkest nights. Give us the strength and will to keep awake in this sleeping world. With hope we pray. Amen.
Friends, as we come to this time, it's a bit of a new section for our Advent season. We'll be having it in each of our services this Advent, a litany of belief and prayers in stillness. It's an opportunity for us to pause, to pray, to remember. And I just want to remind you that we also continue to pray for you, with you. So please let us know of prayer concerns or updates or celebrations that you are having, that we can share them with our community and specifically with our prayer chain. In times when humanity disappoints, perhaps when even our own thoughts and behaviors disappoint, it is an important act to call out, to name and claim the consequences of our wrongs. And in times of distress, it is a prophetic act to call out, name, and claim our belief in the promise of hope. Hear these statements of belief. I believe that we have looked the other way too many times, and
I believe that we are capable of facing reality and working for change.
I believe that our fear of difference has robbed us of compassion, and
I believe that we can look deeper and hold on to the things that we have in common.
I believe that our fear of doubt makes us stop asking tough questions, and
I believe that asking tough questions in the face of injustice is faithful.
we believe even when we are discouraged.
We believe that when we are discouraged, raising our voices for justice will offer us hope.
My friends, I invite you to get in a comfortable position of rest. I invite you to get as quiet and still as you can. I invite you to a deep breath, to adopt a listening posture, perhaps eyes closed or fixing your gaze on a candle as we prepare for a time of stillness and prayer.
The gentle pull of God is often lost amidst the rush of all the obligations which lay a claim on us, yet just beyond the frantic pace our restless feet have trod, lie deep still pools of quietness, the dwelling place of God. the stillness, Lord. Free me to receive. Meet me in the stillness, Lord. Be the air I breathe. Meet me in the stillness, Lord. Free me to receive. Oh, take me to that secret place where, lost in wonder and in awe, that moment comes and I rejoice to be and be with God. Meet me in the stillness, Lord. Be the air I breathe. Meet me in the stillness, Lord. Free me to receive. To receive. Meet me in the stillness, Lord. Free me to
O great dreamer, you dreamed up the stars in the sky. You dreamed up that magic baby smell and the way cream sinks into coffee. You dreamed up the crunch of fall leaves and jazz music. You dreamed up wisteria and evergreen and the pure magic that is a 6-foot-tall sunflower. And in the midst of all of that, you dreamed up a dream for your people, a dream of hope and justice, a dream for eyes wide open to both the world's suffering and the world's beauty. So today, as we read Scripture, we ask that you would plant that same dream in us. Pour out your Spirit on our hearts and minds so that we may see what you see and dream what you dream. Gratefully we pray. Amen.
Our worship series this Advent calls on the power of sung poetry that inspires those who hear it to a brighter tomorrow. It has been a difficult time in this pandemic, for singing has been restricted. In its absence, we have been reminded just how important it is for us to sing together. Indeed, music has often been the soundtrack of hope. We hope that you will experience this time, this season, as a season of music appreciation for you, as well as reflection on the power of music. Someday, we will once again be able to join our voices in song in our own sanctuary. But for now, rather than turn away from music and sorrow, we will turn toward the story of music and deepen our appreciation of its role in healing, in change, and reconciliation. As part of our series and season, you have the chance to go deeper with a shared individual film fest. One of the films in the film fest is the powerful documentary Defiant Requiem, in which Jewish prisoners turned to music as a way of surviving their despair and also naming the evil perpetrated against them. You can learn more at the website found in the bulletin. This morning, we present to you the theme anthem for this series that features the poetry of an anonymous Jewish person during the Holocaust. These words were found scrawled on a wall and have now been shared with the world, reminding us of the resilience of hope. May we never, never forget what can happen when evil is allowed to go unchecked. And may we always use our music, our art, our poetry, our faith, even our simple acts of kindness as inspiration to create goodness, not evil, in this world.
I believe in the sun. I believe in the sun, even when it's not shining. I believe in the sun. I believe in the sun, even when it's not shining. I believe in love. I believe in love, even when I don't feel it. I
Our gospel lesson today comes from the gospel according to Mark, chapter 13, verses 24 through 37. Jesus continued, "But in those days, after that suffering, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will be falling from heaven, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. They will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. Then he shall send out his angels and gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. From the fig tree we learn its lesson. As soon as its branches become tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that he is near at the very gates. Truly, I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But about that day or hour, no one knows, neither the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. Beware, keep alert, for you do not know when the time will come. It is like a man going on a journey, when he leaves home and puts his slaves in charge, each with his work, and commands the doorkeeper to be on watch. Therefore, keep awake, for you do not know when the master of the house will come, in the evening, or at midnight, or at cockcrow, or at dawn, or else he may find you asleep when he comes suddenly. And what I say to you, I say to all, keep awake." God is still speaking. Spread the good news. They say you will come like a thief in the night, the hour unclear, the day easily feared. But I toss these words over the edge of my tongue, and they don't taste right. A thief is one that I lock out. A thief is one that I fear. So I ask myself, did I downgrade you to no more than a thief, great builder? Did you form me from the dust, breathe life into my bones, and paint the horizon into the sky all for me? And was all of that fine until you asked me to love my neighbor as myself? Was that all fine until you said, dream, don't sleep? Was all that fine until you asked me to wake up to the suffering in the streets? Did I imprison you to the role of that thief to keep you from getting too close? Forgive me, great builder. Tear down the door to my house, crawl through the window, slip through the attic fan, dance in the security light, scream through the letterbox until I hear you again. For this house is your house. You build it. You belong here. I am begging you, break back in.
Let us pray. God, pour out your Spirit, that we may be filled with what your desire is for us. Hope, peace, joy, love. May the words of my mouth, the meditation of our hearts, the Spirit, in whatever place we are in, may this be pleasing to you. Amen. We come to the season of Advent needing this time more now than ever. It's interesting, the passage in Mark is sometimes referred to as a little apocalypse. The Greek meaning of apocalypse is revelation and unfolding or unveiling of things that are not previously known. So what is at work in us right now that feels like a breaking open, that feels like a little apocalypse, that is disruptive, disorienting, maybe even threatening. What might God reveal to us in this time? I mentioned that we are using this series, I Believe Even When. And I believe right now that we are really being challenged to what is it that we believe? Do we believe that the sun is still there, even when it's not shining? Do we believe in its heat, even on cold days? Do we believe in love when we don't feel it? Do we believe in God when God is silent? We continue to look for meaning and possibility and strength in this time. And we even dare to dream. Today, our scripture lesson talked about not falling asleep. Stay awake. And I was reading this piece by Marcia Riggs. She said this Advent season begins amid pandemic and protest, and we were not prepared for the dramatic shifts in our ways of living with COVID-19 as it began its trek across the globe. Many physical bodies have been ravaged and lives taken by this fierce virus. And as we know too well, families, churches, schools, employees have been scattered from their gathering spaces into physical isolation. To begin Advent amid pandemic and protest is a befitting point of departure for the 21st century people of God, she writes. For we are being reminded that to be people of God requires an ethical posture of attentiveness, to keep awake. The text charges us to keep awake because we do not know the day or the hour when the fullness of God with us will be realized. To keep awake means that we are being charged in the vernacular to be woke. Being woke means being aware of, enraged by, and willing to protest in solidarity with people who are pushed to the margins of society. Because of systemic oppression, because of all forms of objectification and dehumanization that we enact upon one another. So today we light an Advent candle of hope, saying, I believe in hope, even when things are hopeless, at least when they seem hopeless. As we light the Advent candle of hope, we keep awake by dreaming, by envisioning how we will live out God's promise to be with us. And we expect God to be with us, to meet us on the other side of this pandemic and protest. Hope, I have often noted, is not listed as one of the fruits of the Spirit. As we read in Galatians, we read, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, and so forth. Hope isn't mentioned. And I've often wondered why that is. I believe perhaps hope is what we bring to the table. Hope is us not giving up on God. Hope isn't necessarily something we receive by God's Spirit, by the fruit of the Spirit, by living out, but it's our prayer and what we bring to the table. we will believe in God, even when God doesn't feel like God is living up to the promises, to what we want. I absolutely loved the poetry prayer for today. The Dream, Don't Sleep poem that Jane read. That piece of why do we even read this part about Jesus coming like a thief in the night? Don't we want to keep thieves out? And the author writes, did I downgrade you to no more than a thief, great builder? Did you form me from dust, breathe life into my bones, and paint the horizon into the sky, all for me? And was all of that fine? Until you asked me to love my neighbor as myself. Was all of that fine? Until you said, dream, don't sleep. Was all of that fine until you asked me to wake up to the suffering in the streets? Did I imprison you to the role of thief to keep you from getting too close? And then she writes this, forgive me, great builder, and tear down the door to my house. Crawl through the window, slip through the attic fan, dance in the security light, scream through the letterbox until I hear you again. What an image. Inviting God to break through once again. And isn't that what Advent is all about? This watching and waiting because we know that God will show up and we can't wait to see there and be it and be awake and ready for it. The author of that poem finishes out by saying, break back in because this is your house. You belong here. You made it. So break back in. In closing, some words from Emily Towns. Hope means we have opened our eyes, hearts, minds, souls, very spirits, and now see and feel and touch and smell the joy and the agony living in the fractures of creation. That is the irony of hope. For in our yearning for it, we often walk far away from it, even as we try and come home to it. You see, I don't think, she writes, hope is the end product on the assembly line of our lives. No, I think it's simply a part of the journey, part of the way in which we come to know God's way in our lives with a richness that ripens and ripens and ripens. Hope is a part of our lives. And so in this time where we have COVID brain and we are asleep, may we wake up. May we keep awake. May we keep our eyes open and our ears open, and may we keep lighting those candles of hope. Because we too do believe that the sun is still there, even when we don't see it shining. We too believe in love when we don't feel it, and we do believe in God when God seems silent. Amen.
Come, O long-expected Jesus, born to set all people free. From our fears and sins release us, grant us your true liberty. Israel's strength and consolation, hope to all the earth impart. Dear desire of every nation, enter every longing heart. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Come to us and set us free. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Be our hope and the saving grace. Born all people to deliver, born a child to come to reign, born to rule on earth forever, come be known to us again. By your own eternal Spirit, come to claim us as your own. By your all-sufficient merit, let us share your cross and crown. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Come to us and set us free. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Be our hope and the saving grace. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Come to us and set us free. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Be our hope and saving grace. Be our hope and the saving grace.
Friends, let us join for our affirmation of faith. We believe in God.
We believe that God has dreams for humanity.
We believe in the Holy Spirit.
We believe that the Holy Spirit comforts us when our dreams turn to nightmares.
We believe in Jesus.
We believe that Jesus walked this world to wake us up, inviting us to be the church in the world.
We believe in dreams.
We believe in the power that dreams have to show us a new way.
So, in this Advent season,
We are those who dream and those who wake up. May it be so. Amen. Let us keep awake and present with hope our offerings of commitment and support for the work of Christ's church. Please remember that while the church building may be closed, our resources are still used and bills need to be paid. Your faithful contributions support the ministry and outreach of this congregation and the wider church. Your financial support may be offered by check and mailed to CPUCC, or online at cpucc.org, or via electronic funds transfer by contacting your bank or your church office. Thank you for the continued generosity. Thank you for your continued generosity and support.
Friends, let us join in our prayer of dedication. In this moment of worship, we embrace your presence again, O God.
And we offer you our love.
In this moment of prayer, we proclaim again your purpose for the world, O Savior.
And we offer you our resources.
In this moment of giving, we hear your call again, O Lord.
And we offer you ourselves.
Use us, all that we have and all that we are, to touch the world with the Christmas message.
God is love. God is with us. God will never leave us. So may the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all now and forever. Amen.
Friends, as we come to our time of communion, please know that everyone is welcome at Christ's table. Whether that table is here or in your home, it is open to all. So let us come. Let us come together at this table. Our God, Song of the ages, be with you.
And also with you.
Lift up your hearts.
We lift them up to the Lord.
Let us give thanks to the Lord our God.
It is right to give our thanks and praise.
It is right and a good and joyful thing always and everywhere to raise our voices with you, tuning ourselves to you, creator of heaven and earth. You filled the night of creation with music and light, setting in motion the rhythms of sunrise and sunset, of sound and silence. You formed within us your love song and breathed into us the breath of life. Sometimes our voices are choked off and we cannot find your melody, but you keep the bass line humming, waiting for us to rejoin the chorus. You show up in the worst of times, offering us the way to freedom in you. Your voice breaks through in prophets whose songs wake us up in the kingdom you desire. And so with your people on earth and all the company of heaven, we praise your name and join their unending hymn.
Now Mary sings her birthing song, till every voice can sing along, and voices weak will rise up strong. Her choir is one where all belong.
Holy are you, and blessed is your Son, Jesus Christ. Breaking forth into light from the blessed darkness of the womb, he brought light that illuminated a path so we could see our way to a more beloved community. Your Spirit anointed him to raise his voice, to preach good news to the poor, to proclaim release to the captives and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed, and to announce that the time had come when you would save your people. He healed the sick, fed the hungry, and ate with sinners, and invited us to do this too. Born into a world of suffering, he suffered. Born into a world of senseless death, he died. Born into a world that needed hope, he rose, delivering us and proclaiming light and life, the triumphal code of life's song. When the Lord Jesus ascended, he promised to be with us always in the power of your word and Holy Spirit. Holy luminary, light our way. On the night in which he gave himself up for us, he took bread and he gave thanks to you. After he broke the bread, he gave it to his disciples and said, "Take and eat. This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me."
For deeper love we spread the bread. I won't be full till all are fed, till every soul has home and bed. The rest of us can't move ahead.
When the supper was over, he took the cup and he gave thanks to you. He then gave it to his disciples and said, "Drink from this, all of you. This is my blood of the new covenant, poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins. Do this, and as often as you drink of it, remember me." And so, in remembrance of your mighty acts in Jesus Christ, we offer ourselves as a holy and living sacrifice in union with Christ's offering for us as we proclaim the mystery of our faith. Christ has died. Christ is risen. Christ will come again. So pour out your Holy Spirit on us gathered here and on those in their homes and on these gifts of bread and fruit of the vine. Make them be for us your love and light, so that our hearts may be broken open for the world and our lives poured out in service. By your Spirit, make us one with Christ, one with each other, and one in the ministry to all the world. Mix our voices in harmony with each other until we sit at the same table and sing in the same choir in your kingdom on earth as it is in heaven. Through your Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, your holy church, all honor and glory be yours, Almighty God, now and forever. Amen.
We follow where the Christ has led, to table that for all is bread, and no one sitting at the head, but deeper love in wine and bread.
Friends, let us join together in our Lord's Prayer. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Friends, I invite you to take your piece of bread. Holding it and knowing this is the body of Christ, given for you. As you eat it, remember Christ. Likewise, taking your cup. It's a cup of the new covenant, a new way of being, Jesus' life poured out for all. Drink all of it and remember love. Let us join together in our prayer of thanksgiving. We give you thanks, Almighty God, that you have refreshed us at your table by granting us the presence of Jesus Christ. Strengthen our faith, increase our love for one another, and send us forth into the world in courage, peace, and hope, rejoicing in the power of the Holy Spirit, through Jesus Christ our Savior. Amen.
Our sending hymn today is the familiar carol, "I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day." Henry Wadsworth Longfellow wrote this poem at Harvard on Christmas Day in 1863, during the heart of the Civil War. His wife had just died tragically in a fire, and he had just found out that his son had been injured as a soldier in the Union Army. He heard the sound of bells coming from a church somewhere in his neighborhood. And he began to write, spurred by his sorrow at the state of humankind.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and mild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to all. I thought as now this day had come, the belfries of all Christendom had rung so long the unbroken song of peace on earth, goodwill to all. And in despair I bowed my head. There is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to all. Then pealed the bells more loud and deep, God is not dead, nor doth God sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, of peace on earth, goodwill to all.
My friends, hear these words of benediction and blessing as you go forward, serving God gladly. We wait for justice, but we do not wait to work for change. We wait for restored health, but we do not wait to work to heal. We wait for wholeness, but we do not wait to work at binding brokenness. We wait for peace, but we do not wait to work to eliminate hatred. And so, my friends, like bells ringing out the news that the sun still shines even on cloudy days, fill the night left by sadness with messages of hope. Go into your lives humming the tunes that keep that hope alive in you, and that spur you on in your work of justice and reconciliation. Raise your voices and do not be afraid. Amen.